10 years ago, a woman walked away from her family, leaving behind her husband and young son. Not only did she abandon them, but she also took all the family's assets, leaving them struggling. Now, a decade later, she is diagnosed with severe leukemia, and a bone marrow transplant is her only hope for survival. Desperate to save her life, she reached out to 13 relatives, but none were a match. Her last hope? The very son she abandoned. For 10 years, she never once reached out to him, never checked if he was well, never offered a helping hand. Meanwhile, his father worked tirelessly to raise him alone, sacrificing everything to provide a stable life. So, when his mother's side of the family showed up at his school, pleading for him to donate his bone marrow, he was furious. His grandparents argued, "Your mother raised you for 5 years, your father only raised you for 10. Her love outweighs his." But he knew the truth. Love isn't measured in years, but in actions. They even tried to buy his help, offering to pay for his college tuition if he agreed to the transplant. When that failed, they played an emotional video from his mother, where she blamed him for her suffering, calling him heartless for refusing to save her. Yet he remained unmoved, seeing it for what it was: manipulation. Eventually, he agreed to the transplant, but only if his father consented. However, his father refused to even acknowledge the request. After years of abandonment, financial hardship, and emotional turmoil, he couldn't bear to see his son being used as a last resort. The mother's family continued to push, attempting to guilt the boy into submission. They even showed him a newspaper article about an 8-year-old boy who saved his father with a bone marrow donation. But was it really the same? With no other option, his grandparents sought out his uncle, hoping he could change his brother's mind. After careful discussion, the uncle proposed a compromise. The transplant would be done at a hospital in their city, where the boy's safety could be guaranteed. Once the procedure was completed, the grandparents could then take the stem cells to his mother's hospital. The mother's family had no choice but to accept. What would you do in his place? Would you forgive and help? Or would you walk away as she once did?